To create a list, a contact group in your Gmail of your students, the best place to start is in your Infinite Campus account. In Infinite Campus, what you're going to do on the left-hand side of your screen where it says Ad Hoc Reporting, you're going to open up this tab. So your computer probably looks something like this where Ad Hoc is closed, but there's this little arrow on the left-hand side. If you click that, it will expand the Ad Hoc Reporting view. Go ahead and go into Data Export. And here I have a bunch of filters that I have already created. I've put one in the one called All Campus Users right here. So if you click on the plus, go ahead and scroll down until you find one that says Copy of Class Rosters. Go ahead and click on that, and you're going to choose Copy. And what this does is it's going to actually put this into your own list, so you don't have to go and find it later. It will be in your list right here. So it's called Copy of Class Rosters. Now we need to edit it because right now it has my name as the teacher name, and we need to change it so it has your name. So I have it highlighted, and I'm going to go to Edit, and you can give it a new name. So you can say like Class Rosters 2014, 2015, or whatever you want to call it. It could be your name, because this will actually work next year for your classes as well. So maybe you don't want to put a date, but just go ahead and give it a custom name for you. Then scroll down to the bottom of the screen where it says Next. Now here, notice it says course section dot teacher full name equals Hero, Melissa. Here's where you want to put your name. Make sure you capitalize your first and last name, and you start with last name, first name. Then you can go and save and test, and what it will do is it will show you your different course sections. I'm actually going to change this for another teacher that I'm using as an example. So I'll put her name in there and save and test. And what will happen is we can see that these are your students right here. And so Debelina teaches 3rd and 5th period. So we know that the filter is working. We've saved it with your name in it. Now to get it to export a CSV file, which is what we need to use to put it into our Google Contacts, I'm going to go back to Data Export here on the left-hand side of the page. Now I'm going to click on that Class Rosters 2014-2015, that list that I just created. And on the right-hand side it says Pick an Export Format. We're going to choose Delimited Values CSV. Then right here at the bottom it says Export. So go ahead and click on that. And what it does is it creates a file here. You can go ahead and open up that file, and it will open up in Excel. Now we have a list that has student ID number. I'm just going to go ahead and rename them. So we have ID, last name, first name, birthday, period, and I'm going to create one called email. And I'm going to put, the way I'm going to spell it is really important. You need to put E-mail. And the reason for this is it ends up doing something funky when you are importing it into your Google contacts. If you put email without the hyphen, it's not going to recognize it as an email address. So I'm going to write email address. Now we need to get email addresses for all of these students, and luckily the way that their GAIF emails are named is that it has their student ID at seq.org. So go ahead and check. Put your cursor in the first box right here, F2. And we're going to create a formula that's going to make the student IDs into email addresses. So in box F2, I'm going to type the equal sign, and that's how all formulas start. Then I'm going to check the box right here, A2, that contains the first student ID. So we have equals A2. Now you're going to use the ampersand sign, which if you press Shift 7, that will give you the and sign. And then we're going to add the at seq.org, and we need to do this in quotation marks. So I'm going to do quotations, at seq.org, end quotations. So it's equals the cell that contains the number, and in parentheses at seq.org. Or sorry, not parentheses, quotations. So now I'm going to press return, and it automatically created this email for us. If I click on this first box, and notice there's that blue box in the bottom right hand corner of the blue box. If I double click on that little box, it will fill in the formula all the way to the bottom, and it will put all the students' IDs in correctly. Now, one thing, even though the IDs or their email addresses are here and they're all accurate, if I were to delete column A, it would screw up these email addresses. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste them back in as a value. So they're all highlighted in blue. Now I'm going to press Control C, or on a Mac, Command C, and then so that copied them. Now I'm going to paste them. But instead of pressing Control V, I'm going to go up to the top of my screen in the File menu bar, and I'm going to choose Edit. And instead of Paste, I'm going to do Paste Special. Then I'm going to choose Values. So what's it going to do is it's going to paste these as values instead of as the formulas that they are. So I'm going to press OK. Now if I go to column A, which we don't need anymore, I can delete that, and we still have email addresses here. Notice that the periods are all they're all a mix, these kids. So I'm going to go up to the Data menu, or right up here I can get to my Sort, and we want to sort these by their periods. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to put them in ascending order, and it automatically resorted our students into their different class periods. And what we have to actually do is we need these as separate files, because I want to create a class group that's just third period and a class group that's just fifth period. So I'm going to save this, and it's going to tell me that it contains features that may not work. It's because it's a CSV file. I'm just going to say Continue, and it's saved this as the third period, but now I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to change this one as fifth period, CSV. I'm actually going to change it. I'm going to put it on my desktop. It will be easier for me to find. So this one's fifth period.csv. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete third period from this list. So now I just have fifth period students. So I'm going to go back to File, and I'm going to save this fifth period. And then you want to go back to your other file and save that as well. We don't need period anymore because I labeled this fifth period, and we don't need that showing up in the contacts because we're going to name that fifth period. So I'm just going to delete that. So now we have a column that's last name, first name, birthday, and email address. And I save this onto my desktop. So now I'm going to go back to my Google Drive, to my Google account, my Chrome, and I'm going to go to my Gmail. When I'm in my Gmail, if I go over to Mail, I can click on Contacts, and this is going to show me all of my contacts. And I have some groups already set up, but down here at the bottom I have a new group, or an import contacts. So I want to actually import the contacts from that fifth period list and from the third period list, and I'm going to do that twice. So for each class you have to do this. So if I click Import Contacts, it says that it needs to be a CSV file, which is what we saved it as. And up here I can see fifth period CSV. So I'm going to open that up and choose Import. And what it's going to do is it actually created a group right here, calling it Imported 9/15/14. So it puts in today's date. When I look here, it has their names and it has their email addresses. Up at the top it says these contacts have been imported but not yet merged. So you want to click Find and Merge Duplicates. And there's a couple of people that are that have duplicate data, and this isn't from this list. I think I have people who are already in my contacts that have a duplicate lists. So I'm just going to press Merge for here. But now we have a list of these students, but it's called Imported 9/15. If I click on that, if I click on it, which we already are because I'm looking at it, I can go up to More, and I can rename the group. And I'm going to call this one fifth period. I'll press OK. So now when you want to create an email, or if you're sharing a Google Doc, you don't need to type in all of your students' name from fifth period. I'm just going to go to Contacts, Mail, and I'm going to compose a new mail. And when I go to my to, I'm going to just type in fifth period, and then it will automatically put in all my students from that fifth period. Now, you may not want to put them all in the to, What might be better when you have a bunch of students and all their email addresses, for privacy's sake, it would probably be better to blind copy them. So if I go back to Compose, you can send an email to yourself, click on the BCC, and then here type in 5th period. So now the students are going to see each other's email addresses in this case. And you can type an email to all of your students all at once. One added bonus, because we had the student birthdays in the list, is that now you can see your students' birthdays on your Google Calendar. So when you're on your calendar, if you go to Other Calendars on the left-hand side of your screen, make sure you click on it so that you can see all of your other calendars. Check the box for Contacts Birthdays, and then you'll see if it's your student's birthday.